Hey, I'm Mike Mueller, and it's a great time to be a hockey fan right now because Stanley Cup playoffs are about to happen, the second half of the season, the second season, some people will call it. So I'm dusting off my shrine. I'm sure you've got a shrine at home too. Yeah, a little memorabilia. What is this, 2002 Avalanche and the Sharks, great game. 2 years later, 2004, same two teams met. But it's more about, it's not the memorabilia. There's also a lot of trophies that are happening right now, and they're all playing right now for the Stanley Cup. And in the NHL, they're not named necessarily MVP. They're named after people. And so I'm going to show you actually a little bit about each of the trophies, including the Stanley Cup. First awarded in 1947, the Art Ross Trophy, given to the player who scores the most points during the regular season. Now last year, Pittsburgh Penguins, Evgeny Malkin, he might win it again this year. Very prestigious. I'm going to show you what it looks like. This is a toy. The real one's a whole lot bigger and a whole lot heavier and a whole lot more prestigious. But to put it in perspective, Wayne Gretzky, 10-time winner. Gordie Howe, Mario Lemieux, 6-time winners each. It may be a little confusing, but the Art Ross Trophy goes to the greatest point scorer during the regular season, and points are actually assists and goals, whereas the Maurice Rocket Richard Trophy goes to the greatest goal scorer during the regular season, and goals are putting that biscuit in the basket, getting that puck past the goalie, putting it in the net. In 2006, actually, San Jose Sharks had Joe Thornton win the Art Ross, and the Rocket Richard Trophy went to Jonathan Cheechoo. It's named, of course, after Maurice Rocket Richard, who probably gained the greatest fame, 50 goals. He was the first one, 50 goals in 50 games. He went on and scored over 500 goals in his career. Last year's winner, by the way, Rocket Richard Trophy, Alexander Ovechkin, did a great job, Washington Capitals. So while the Norris Trophy is given to the best offensive defenseman, the Selke Trophy is kind of the opposite. It's given to the best forward who exhibits defensive skills. It's named after Frank Selke. It's been given away since 1978. Last year, Detroit Red Wings, Pavel Datsyuk won the Selke Award. Who's going to win it this year? I'm a big fan of goalies, and that's why I'm a big fan also of the Vezina Trophy, and that's been given away since 1927 to the best goalie each year during the regular season. Last year, there was Martin Brodeur, New Jersey Devils, and yes, he was a great goalie. My favorite story of the Vezina Trophy is a guy named Glenn Hall. Played for Chicago Blackhawks and a bunch of other teams, but listen to this. 502 consecutive games over 8 seasons. He played every single game without injury. Well, he might have been injured, but he didn't leave the game. That's over 8 seasons. The other incredible part about this is before they started wearing a mask. First given out in 1917, the Calder Trophy, named after Frank Calder. It goes to the Rookie of the Year, or the best performing first-year player. Last year there was Patrick Kane, Chicago Blackhawks. This year it's probably going to a goalie, Steve Mason, Columbus Blue Jackets. But Wayne Gretzky never won a Calder because he was deemed ineligible. He played for another World Hockey team, and they kind of threw him out of the running. But the end-all be-all, Toronto has had 9 Calder Trophy winners. So they have won Rookie of the Year more often than any other team. The Hart Memorial Trophy, first awarded 1923. It's given to the player who's judged to be the most valuable player to his team. Let's call it the MVP of the regular season. Now last year, that was Alexander Ovechkin, Washington Capitals. This year, he's probably going to win it again. If he does, that's going to make it the first time since 97-98 when Dominik Hasek did it for the Buffalo Sabres. Now, like the Hart Memorial Trophy, which is given MVP of the regular season, the Conn Smythe Trophy is given to the MVP of the second season of the playoffs. And last year, that was Henrik Zetterberg, and he won a Conn Smythe. And it looks a little bit like Maple Leaf Gardens. That's because it's named after a real human being, Conn Smythe, and he was the owner, the coach, the general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Hence, Conn Smythe Trophy. Now, last year, Henrik Zetterberg won. Does that mean you have to win the Stanley Cup to be eligible for a Conn Smythe? No. It's actually been given away 5 different times to players of losing teams. Most recent, 2003, Jared Shiger. His Ducks, they lost to the New Jersey Devils, but he won the Conn Smythe. He probably wasn't all that happy about that, but you know what? That's the Conn Smythe. Marie Evelyn Morton, wife of Lord Byng, the General Governor of Canada in 1925. She is Lady Byng, hence the name on the trophy. It's given out to the most gentlemanly player in the NHL. You better not be a defenseman if you're in for Lady Byng, because no defenseman has won in the last 25 years. Yeah, if you ask a hockey fan, a die-hard hockey fan, what's your favorite hockey movie? It's not going to be The Mighty Ducks. Chances are it's probably going to be Slapshot. And it was starred the Chiefs and starred Paul Newman as the player/coach. And that brings me to the Jack Adams Award. That award is given every year since 1974 to the best coach, let's say, the one who's contributed the most to his team's success. And given that, Paul Newman has never won. Interestingly enough, though, Don Cherry has won, and he won 1976 for the Boston Bruins. Now, if you ask any of these players, it's a big honor to win any of these trophies, any of these awards. But the ultimate goal, the ultimate prize, is the Stanley Cup. And that was first awarded in 1892, making it the oldest sports trophy in North America. And that's what they're really skating for. That's what they're really playing for. And they may never, ever win the cup. They hope they win the cup, and some people actually win the cup over and over again. But ultimately, what every single player wants is to hold the cup. He doesn't really want to hold the cup. He wants to hold the cup, hold it over his head, kiss the cup. And by the way, that tradition started 1950. Ted Lindsay, Detroit Red Wings, was the first player to actually hoist the cup over his head and kiss the cup. I think that's a great tradition to keep. So watch the Stanley Cup playoffs, root for your team, and remember, each and every one of them, they all want the exact same goal. We want the cup.